We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle. We back again, wrapping up week 4. How you doing this morning, D-Lane?
Doing great, man. Just got in the office. Great Tuesday morning. Got my coffee. Ready to talk a little ball, baby.
Let's get it. You need a couple sips. Let's get that energy up.
Oh, yeah.
Let's dive into it off the bat. Exciting weekend of football. The first month of football is done out the way. And I think we're starting to see what teams are, forming into playoff teams, contenders, and which team will be top 10 draft picks next year. But let's start off with the 49ers. They're sitting at 2-2, lost 2 big games against playoff opponents, the Packers, the Seahawks. Neither game was particularly close. And right now, the 49ers are sitting at 2-2. So let me ask you this, D-Lane. Is it time for Trey Lance, or do you input Jimmy just to fight for a playoff spot, wild card?
Nah, it's time, man. It's time. He struggled last week versus the Packers. Should have won the game, or he could have lost on the game with the late turnover he had in that game, and then he struggled against the Seahawks, and then we finally got to see Trey Lance in the second half with Jimmy getting hurt. But I think I've been saying this was around the time I said they start with the Packers, then they got the 3 game. I said this was the little 3 game stretch where I felt like somewhere in this 3 game stretch versus the Packers, Seahawks, and Cardinals, Jimmy will start struggling, and here it goes.
And I think the biggest piece, the major piece that why I think Trey Lance needs to start right now is you're not going to have Jimmy next year. So you need to see what you have in Trey Lance. And I keep hearing the Josh Allen, but as far as development that Trey Lance needs. Remember, Josh Allen was highly inaccurate when he came to the league. He was an athletic quarterback with a big arm, but played at Wyoming, came from JUCO, so needed to develop his QB skills. I'm really confused what Kyle is doing right now. I'll be honest. I don't see how anyone can get better from just watching, especially in this day. I don't want to hear someone on Twitter told me about all these quarterbacks that sat and waited. None of them were before 2000, right? Outside of Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. And to me, I'm looking at Kyle like, hold on, Kyle. This is year 4. You have everything you need. You got a top defense. You got weapons on the outside, right? You've had some injuries to your running backs, but who doesn't have injuries in the NFL right now? So that's not an excuse. And I think it's time to start winning some games. If you're not going to win some games, which you aren't doing right now, then it's time to insert Trey Lance and develop him. I don't see how Trey Lance could get better without. Remember, he played. We're not going to count last year. Hasn't played football in 2 years. Right? Hasn't played a full football game in almost over 2 years. So I think Kyle. I'm looking at Kyle right now. Like as far as, hey, is it Trey Lance time? Is it Jimmy? Kyle, you traded 2 first-round picks in a second to trade up for Trey Lance. It's go time. And right now, you're not getting any impact from any of your draft picks. Trey Lance isn't playing. Your second-round guard is benched. He doesn't start. So you draft a guard in second round that can't play. And then your third-round running back, Sermon, it was third in the depth chart. Now he's finally getting going, having an impact, but not even having a huge impact out of his draft class right now. So in that division, it's looking real rough for the Niners.
Question, though. Do you start Trey Lance this week coming up against arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team? I think you said they play the Cardinals coming up this week, or do you wait to play them against the Colts the week after?
I'm playing them right away. Well, let's see them against Justin Fields. They play the Bears this week.
No, they play the Cardinals this week.
I'm sorry.
They play the Cardinals, Colts, and then the Bears.
Yeah, my fault. I think he start right away against the Cardinals. Now, I don't want to hear people want to say, oh, throw him against that defense, that team, this and that. Well, when are you? It's the NFL. Nothing's perfect. If your quarterback, I think that we're all scared of the Ryan Leaches, the David Carrs. Oh, they're going to get rattled mentally. This is 2021. They're 7-on-7s. They're social media. They can take it. They're not going to get rattled mentally. And if they are, they're not your quarterback. And I'll be honest, it seems like Kyle's the only one that's like trying to hide Trey Lance. Like he's either really, really good and that's why he's hiding him, or he's so far from being ready to play. And we could dive into watching your thoughts of Trey Lance playing on Sunday, but I don't know. I'm confused what Kyle's doing. I don't know what he's doing. Do you think he has a plan, D Lane, at this point, or do you think he's just going like he doesn't know what he's doing right now?
I
Because
told you,
he's never been on TV.
Look, Jimmy, he has 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions through the first 4 weeks, and they're 500. And like I said, I think Jimmy or Kyle was looking at it along the lines more of the last time we was fully healthy, our defense with Jimmy at the helm in a running game, we were in the champion, we were in the Super Bowl, up against the champs that eventually became the champs, the
That's so
Chiefs.
dangerous.
I told you, I thought that was his mindset the whole time. Then he was thinking, man, we're at least a contender playoff team with Jimmy. Let the young bull learn. He hasn't played in 2 years. Let him learn the NFL speed, catch up, and learn it that way. Figure it out that way. Do it. But clearly, it's not going that way. It's not playing. It's shaping out where he's going to have to play sooner than later because we all know what Jimmy's about. Jimmy's going to turn the ball over. It's that simple. We just didn't know when it was going to happen. And so far, like I said, he only has 2, and I think he has a fumble as well. So he's not turning it over at an alarming rate, but he's not playing very well neither.
No, I think I'm glad you said that. You're spot on. I think you're right. That probably was Kyle's plan, and it's not going to plan at all. And to me, I'm starting to talk more of Kyle because once you're anointed this top-notch coach, top 5 coach, and we said it, I've talked about him as the top 5 coach.
Yeah.
Once you're anointed, you're going to be talked to as so. Your team, you have one of the more talented rosters in the NFL. You're sitting at 2-2. Your team, again, outside the Lions game, which it was, that's one of the closest margin victory for the Lions this year outside the Ravens game. The offense has not looked good, and your offensive coach. I'm putting this on Kyle, and I saw a stat that was really interesting to me. And I told you this yesterday. Kyle Shanahan and John Gruden entered back were head coaches at the same time, hired in 2018. John Gruden has won only 2 less games in Kyle in that span, 2. And we've seen the Raiders. They're 3-1, but they've been a 500 team for the most part of that. So I'm really putting this on Kyle. Like, you have a loaded roster. I'm tired of excuses. It's time to win, and we can't talk to you like Sean McVay if you're not winning. Sean McVay's never not had a winning record. He doesn't know what it's like to have a losing record. So let's get it, Kyle. My last piece on the Niners before we jump into this Raider game. Are the 49ers a playoff team right now? Will they make the playoffs? At what they're looking like right now?
Nah, not with the way they're looking right now. Oh, I can't go there because we just said we're gonna talk about it later. But we think the Cardinals might be the best team in the league. And then I've been liking the Rams since McVay been there. They seem like they've been consistently one of the most balanced teams since McVay's been there on offense and defense, and they've shown it again this year. So, and with Jimmy starting, even with Trey Lance starting, they would still have the worst quarterback in that division because he's a rookie, or Jimmy, he's just not the caliber of players like the guys, the other quarterbacks in the division. So I'm definitely, I'm selling my 49ers stock right now. If you believe they're going to the playoffs, I'm out on that. I'm out on that.
Selling your 49ers stock. Okay. I'm going to go out and say it. I think they can make the playoffs still. And the only reason I say that is because the NFC is so bad. If they were in the AFC, I would be completely out. But because they are in the NFC, you got the Panthers that are a team we didn't think would be good this year. We have Cowboys, but again, the NFC East they're probably going to be one team coming out the NFC East. Yeah, they have a shot. They have a shot still to make the playoff. I'll say these next few games are huge for the 49ers. They played 2 playoff teams and lost both. The Packers game was close. Let me see what they have on their schedule for coming up. So they got
the Cardinals
this week. I don't see a game where I say, you know what, Niners going to win until November 21st against the Jaguars.
That's what I'm saying. It's looking tough. It's looking rough for them.
I'm not looking at the Bengals the same. I'm not looking at like, oh, that's an easy win December at all. So I see 3 guaranteed wins. Jags, Falcons, and Texans. So that puts them at 5. Let's give them, coin flip games. So yeah, they might be a 7-8 win team. Ooh, I don't know. Will 8-8 get in the playoffs this year in the NFC? 8-8?
Nah, that ain't gonna be enough.
Not this year. Not 8-8.
Nah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But I will say this: on a positive, you have a defense. Your corners are suspect, but you have a really good front seven. They still get after the passer. The run game isn't there, and I guess Kyle and Brandon Ayuk got beef. Brandon Ayuk got 5 catches through 4 games.
They say he hasn't been. They say he hasn't been acting like a professional.
I don't. Kyle, stop, grow up. It's the NFL. Act professional. What's he doing? Disrupting team meetings. You need to win. If he's that much disruption, cut him, trade him. It's the NFL. Come on, Kyle. Stop being a little baby about it. Win. Actually, that's all I'm saying. Kyle, win. You have to win. Your daddy's Super Bowl coach. You got to learn from one of the best coaches ever. Win. McVay learned from his dad. He's a winner. Let's win. Let's go, Kyle. Let's stop living in 2019, Kyle. Let's go. It's 2021. Almost 2022. I don't know. I'm just like, we can't talk you up and then you're not performing. You know, like I don't, and then still look at you the same. I don't like that. Especially, let's say this: he's the only coach we put on that status without winning. He's the only coach. So let's dive into this Raider game.
I mean, McVay right there too. McVay lost his championship that he got to.
No, but he goes to playoffs every year. Doesn't have a losing record in the regular season.
No,
so that's my point. You can't not miss the playoffs. No playoffs in 4 years as a coach.
Yeah, and like I said with McVay, it seems like they've been one of the most balanced teams year in, year out since he.
And the thing with McVay, he showed up year one, said, "Golf's good enough for me. I'll make it work. Good enough for me, right?" And outside the and again, this is on Kyle. Remember, Kyle isn't Sean McVay. Sean McVay doesn't have full control over personnel. That's Les Snead. Kyle makes all decisions. He's one of 4 coaches: him, John Gruden, Bill Belichick, and Pete Carroll. Those are the 4 coaches that have the last say in their buildings. Okay, Kyle, we're still. Hey, you trade away Buckner. Let's not forget that you trade away DeForest Buckner, the top 3 D tackles in the NFL, bar none. So just let's not forget that. So here we go. You trade away players. The Rams, they're adding them. So,
man.
But let's hop into this Raider game. I'm gonna kick us off here, Lane.
Go ahead.
It's a Tuesday morning. Me and Lane recorded last night. I need to cool off a little bit, and I wasn't upset by the loss. Chargers are a legit team. I was upset by the what's the word I'm looking for? The putrid whole first half of the Raiders' offense. It's through 4 games and we haven't had a first quarter touchdown this year. That's on Carr and Gruden. Again, we're one of the best teams in the second half. But I'm like, man, you can't win games against elite teams like that. You have to play 4 quarters of football. And again, you'll see this team is nowhere near the same, not comparing them at all. The Chiefs have slow starts all the time. They have Patrick Mahomes, so they can do that. You can be Packers, you can have a slow start. Herbert, he can have a slow start. Russ, he had a slow start this weekend. He can have a slow start. But if you're Carr, you cannot have a slow start against elite teams like the Chargers. So let me get that out the way. That's why I was really upset just about. I know it's a rain delay, almost an hour delay. I've had a couple delays. Now
I didn't understand that. How they have a delay in the damn dome?
It's 2021. I've taken this new stance. I am not an expert on lightning, so I have no comment. I do not know how lightning works. I know it hits the ground, but I might sound stupid if I say anything else about the topic.
But no, I just know. I thought they were in the dome. That's all I was.
Everyone on TV said the same thing, Lane. They said it was a call from New York, so I was like, "Hey, must be some scientists that know something, an expert in the field." Gotcha. But Gruden said the same thing. But I know, again, D-Lane, you know this. The rain delays I've had in my playing football, it doesn't really affect the offense, in my opinion, because we're already ready. We're going through the game plan. To me, it affects the defense. That juice. Our defense wasn't.
You tripping, Zay.
I feel like the rain delay affects the defense the most, as far as the juice of the opening.
Delay, probably the timing of it, but just rain game. Oh, you talking about delay? Yeah, you're not saying rain game.
I'm talking about delay. Of course,
got you.
Rain, snow, hail, wind, all of that.
Yeah, I got you. My bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying, for instance, we have that rain delay for the offense. We're back on the board. We're going over some plays. We're going to that first drive. We're just mentally preparing. I know the defense, and again, you play defense. Say they lose a little juice because the timing's off. But again, the Raiders defense didn't come out flat. They played their ass off. I think They got pressure on Herbert. The Chargers had the punt. The Raiders defense played well enough to win, and that's we've been getting on the Raiders defense. Yes, they gave up 28 points, but the amount of drives that the Chargers had plus territory and did not score, fourth downs, the Raiders held them in. Shout out to the Raiders defense. Y'all did good enough to win. Now, the Raiders offense, the O-line is struggling from a running the ball perspective. We cannot run the ball consistently. Now, we've had Jacobs hurt. There's a lot of different issues around that, our run game and our healthy running backs. But regardless, we can have one touchdown in the first half. One touchdown in the first half changes this game, and you got a ball game late. But we didn't. So I think the Raiders really need to figure out how to get a flow offensively. Defense, still, a lot of injuries. DB last night still had their own. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams were held under 100 yards combined. No touchdowns last night. They really attacked our linebackers with the running backs and the tight ends. So hats off to the Raiders defense. I think they played tough and good enough to win. We're down three corners late in the game and still held our own. So shout out to that defense and Gus Bradley. Offense, let's get it together. Now I'll take a step back. I don't want to jump the ship and just say that like season's over. The Chargers disrupted. I mean, the Chiefs they lost by a touchdown, but it was really a 2 touchdown. It was garbage time touchdown. The Chargers are for real, and we'll get into them in a minute. But 3-1 headed to Chicago, big week. I think they're favorites overall. Last points. Carr, Gruden get on the same page in the first half. Defense, y'all did good enough to win. Let's move on to the next week.
Yeah, man. I don't know game you was watching. Defense did all right, but good enough to win. That's a stretch right there, Zay. I think Herbert played a pretty clean game. Both teams were 4 for 13 on third down, but the Chargers was 2 for 3 on fourth down. You guys were 1 for 3, and then the Chargers was 4 for 5 in the red zone, Zay. And then not only did Herbert play pretty, but not only did Herbert play a good game, shit, they Eckler ran for 117 on y'all, and they was averaging near 5 yards a carry as a team, a pop. So they was getting what they wanted on y'all. Herbert.
But when I say good enough to win, it's more judging of the firepower we're playing. So if we're playing like let's just say we're playing the Niners, that's pitch poor defense, right? If we're playing again, to me, I'm watching that defense against a Patrick Mahomes, a Russell Wilson, a Aaron Rodgers, a Josh Allen. To me, they made enough plays to put their team in position to win. If your offense scores 0 points the first half and you hold the other team to 14, so they scored only on 2 possessions and punted every other possession and a turnover or downs. To me, that's good enough defense. Now, to your point, good enough. I didn't say good performance. Good enough. But go ahead.
Because like I said, it looked like they had what they wanted. When I watched mostly the second half. I will say that.
Okay.
It just looked like it looked like they had what they wanted. As far as on the run game and the pass game, but it looked like we're having the same problems with Carr and Gruden early, as far as early in games. I don't know why they can't get it rolling hot right out the gate. You guys love to just come out the second half blazing. If y'all can come out in the first half the way y'all come out the second half, we might be having a different conversation here about your team. But I'm actually want to talk about the Chargers a little bit, Zach, because you hyping them up over here, and I don't see it from the defense consistently enough this year. Every time I watch the Chargers, I've been getting the feeling. I get this feeling when I watch the Chargers. It's Herbert or bust. If Herbert don't have a good game, they can't do nothing. That's not a championship contender team. You're supposed to have other parts. You gotta have other parts. You should have a run game. You gotta have somebody to throw the ball to on the outside. But then for the most part, you gotta have a defense. We all know defense wins championships. And I'm just saying, I have not seen Bosa flash enough for me throughout the season. Last night, the defense did this thing. Derwin James had a pick.
Man, I gotta stop you right there. Bro. I can't. But Bosa is a top leader in sacks in the NFL this year. He had a sack last night. He's had a sack almost every game this year. The defense,
like I said, I said flash. It's a difference. He only had 2 QB hits last night. He had 1 sack. I give him that. I'm just saying, flashing. That's what I mean.
Difference. You're right. He didn't play the second half. He was.
Yeah, and he only actually got 2.5 sacks on the season. He's tied for 25th. He's tied for first and forced fumbles in the league. I'll give him that. But that's only 2.
That's a flash, though. That's what. All right, go ahead, D-Lay. My fault. My fault. I just the Charger defense to me has been lights out. But go ahead.
Nah, they let Dak have what they Dak threw a party on them. Like, come on, I'm just saying, elite.
And Dak's not raw?
Elite, huh?
And week 1, Dak's not raw.
It wasn't week 1. It was week 2 or 3. And I'm just saying that I haven't seen the
Points?
consistency from their defense. Where I'm like, oh, that's an elite defense.
Okay,
They can get it done.
okay. They held Washington football to 16 points. Healthy Washington football team.
That's correct. That's an achievement. They have no quarterback. Go ahead.
Okay, the fewest points the Cowboys have scored all year has been against the Chargers. The fewest points the Chiefs have scored all year was against the Chargers. And again, if we don't count the garbage time touchdown, it was 17-30 in the fourth quarter. Okay, until the Chiefs scored a super late touchdown. And then what they did to the Raiders, who had the top 10 offense going to that game, hold them to 14 points. So I don't know. I guess what defense is better than theirs? Is my point. What's the lights out? Are you thinking like Legion of Boom? Like what's the? I'm trying to figure out what defense.
This season, just alone.
Yeah, what's the better defense?
No, they've been playing solid. I think I like the Steelers D still. I still think they front seven is pretty good.
Okay.
D-Lane,
the Steelers?
The Rams. I don't like the Steelers. We usually said defenses. I'm talking defense.
I know they've given up the most passing yards this year.
And I've been told you I never did. The first thing I said was the Steelers front seven. I've never liked they front back end. I always said that, and I just said that starting off right there. And I'm just saying defenses off the top of my head. I like theirs. I like the Rams. I like the Panthers still, even though they just got hit up by one of the best offenses with Dak in them. Well, I still like the Panthers defense. Huh?
I said, why that same offense didn't light up the Chargers?
Hey, man.
They only scored 20 points.
They wasn't balanced that week. They for sure didn't. They wasn't handing the ball up. I think that was the week when they threw like 50 passes with Dak. They wasn't running the ball. They got away from their identity. That's why that was looked as good as they have been the last few weeks. They've been more balanced.
I look at, I think we look. So I look at Dak as a top 10 quarterback. I know you got your biases. So I expect this from the Cowboys offense. They have weapons. I mean, the best receiving core. Not to get off topic. And I'm looking at the Chargers. You've played three top offenses this year, and those three top offenses you came out on top, except the Cowboys. You only scored 17 against them, and that's Herbert's worst game of the year. And so I look at the Chargers right now, Chargers and Rams, Cardinals, and we can just jump this topic now. I don't know. I haven't seen teams more complete than those three teams in the NFL this year. More complete, I haven't, from top to bottom.
I don't know. Something is missing from the Chargers for me. I don't know what it is.
I think it's just because of the Chargers. Let's remove the Chargers. Like you just and you know what I mean. Like the Chargers,
and it's the same thing. We can actually just skip to the next team too. It's the same thing with the Cardinals for me. Something missing with them. That's why I want to give them that top status where everybody's saying now, oh, they might be the best team after 4 weeks. Like I don't know. Something missing. And the same thing's probably with them on their defense. I actually like the way they're built more than the Rams. I like the way the Cardinals are built more than the Chargers. Why? Because they kind of remind me of the Kansas City Chiefs 2 seasons ago. As far as we got an elite offense, we can put up numbers. On defense, we don't have a great defense, but we got 2 studs. We got guys that can impact the game, and then we get turnovers. They're top 5 in turnovers, I believe, right now. When Kansas City won 2 years ago, they was top 10 in turnovers. There wasn't the best defense, but they created turnovers. What does that do for an elite offense? That gives them more possessions, more times, more chances to score the football. I like JJ. They still got JJ Watt over there. Chandler Jones is a monster, still coming off the edge. You got Buda on the back end. Isaiah Simmons is growing every game. I liked him last year as a rookie. So I like the Cardinals, man, but it's just something missing. It's something missing. But they do have a good formula. I actually like the way they're built a little more than the Chargers, me personally.
Got you. And you don't take any. So I've seen two times in the last 24 months Pat Mahomes struggle and not overcome it. That was against the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that was last week against the Chargers. You don't give the Chargers any credit for going into KC and they just didn't beat the Chiefs. They had them off everything. So you don't give them any credit for that?
I mean, the Chiefs just haven't been. It's early in the season. I'm not really worried about the Chiefs. I feel like, we always say the offense is what they get humming throughout the year. So I feel like
these offenses start out quick and defense collects themselves.
I feel like it's the other way around. But you actually know it. You're right. I'm my bad. You're right on that. But I still feel like they got all year. They got a brand new offensive line. We keep forgetting that. It's 5 brand new people that never blocked for Patrick Mahomes a day in their life. Of course, they need time to gain. They need some time to work with each other, figure it out, get some chemistry, some cohesion. So I'm gonna give it some time. And Pat been throwing a few turnovers here and there, but they actually been able to run the ball lately. So I'm surprised by that. So I think the Chiefs will be all right. I'm not really worried about that.
Yeah, I think I was watching Baldy break down what the Chargers did to the Chiefs. They just bracketed Kelsey and Hill and blitzed him. They said, "All right, what you gonna do if we take but your two weapons and blitz you?" The Chiefs didn't have an answer for it outside of running the ball, and it was what you do against the blitz. But my top team in the NFL right now, I just did it again from Chargers, and it's from the teams they've played. And they're my number one team. The Cardinals, I think, have had one of the easiest schedule. Like they beat Jacksonville, and like you said, I don't know who they are yet because they haven't played uh, a top team yet, right? Outside of the Rams. Now, the Rams victory, I don't want to undercut that. We look at the Rams as a top team. They blew their ass out. They blew them out. But outside of that, the Rams, and I think they got up for that. They haven't played a team where we believe will be a playoff team yet. So I think we're going to keep learning more about the Cardinals. But I believe the Cardinals are a top three team. If I had to buy a stock right now, like hey Isaiah, which
So
team?
you going with the Chargers?
I'm gonna tell you why. Can I tell you why?
Zay,
Again, I'm
they
watching.
barely beat
Every
the
game.
Washington
Can I talk?
football
Can I
team with
talk?
no quarterback.
But
They
again, if I'm buying a stock right now, I'm getting in on it. So when it's December, January, hey Isaiah, you was early on the Chargers. You was right. That's me right now. I'm gonna tell you why. They don't have a weakness on offense. They don't. They have a tight end. They have two elite receivers, and they have a run game. They have a backup running back as well. Staley, to me, can coach defense. Not only can he coach defense, he knows how to rattle top quarterbacks. And we didn't give him enough credit what he did in Seattle last year and completely disrupt the Seahawks and won a game with Walford at quarterback. That's because of Staley. And I talked about it. We didn't know Staley type of coach he was yet, but he showed me right off the bat. When I play top offenses, I'm gonna throw them off. And as long as my defense holds their end, which they have been doing, we're gonna win games. And we have an elite quarterback. Herbert's showing like, hey, yeah, give all these other rookies on all they need time and all that. I don't need time. I'm here. I'm second year QB looking like a vet. And last game to me was a vet game. He didn't throw to Mike Williams or Allen. The Raiders took him away. He destroyed the Raiders with the tight ends and the backs. That's vets, not forcing it downfield, taking what they give you and being accurate. Like you said, he was big on fourth down. So I look at it right now. I took a step back, like, okay, the Cardinals Chargers defense is pretty better, but I'll take the Chargers play caller over Van Joseph with the Cardinals. So I believe the Chargers have a better coach than the Cardinals on the defense side. Now look at the offense. Kyler Herbert. I'm taking Herbert over Kyler because I believe Herbert's more efficient and more durable to last this whole season. Remember, the big knock with Kyler last year, week 9, he got hurt, never looked the same. I don't think that will happen.
Zay,
But
I'll
again,
say I'll say this about the Chargers. Their most impressive win on the season was last night. The rest of them
the
was cool.
Chiefs. It was the Chiefs win. Stop.
No, I'm gonna tell you. First of all, stop it. The Chiefs had more yards, better
They lost.
more yards. They had more completion,
Not enough
better
points.
percentage on third down.
What about points?
They hit the red zone more times.
What about points?
They had the ball more. They had the ball longer. What happens? They turned the ball over twice. They didn't. They handed it. It was so I'm saying that game was more the Chiefs giving it away than the Chargers taking it. Is what I'm trying to tell you. Last night the Chargers took that game. That's the most impressive win on their resume. That's why I give them my top team. I'm about resume. I'm about who you play. And like I said, I heard you did some earlier just because I got throttled this past week, but I think you're seeing the game wrong. I'm still rocking with the Rams. Why? They're one of the most balanced football teams in the NFL. If you watch this game this past weekend, oh my God, Stafford missed about 5-6 throws. More than that, really. He missed a handful of throws that was impact throws and a few touchdowns. So we could be having a completely different game. Talking about a completely different game if he connected on a few of those throws. They just came out a little flat. I still like the Rams. I believe the Rams are still the best football team because they're the most balanced to me.
No, I agree, and I'm not overreacting to Rams. Just like we didn't overreact to.
They got my bad. Say real quick. They got throttled, and they still was averaging five over five a pop on the ground.
No, I get what you're saying. I'll say this piece. I still on the Rams. I'm not looking at the Rams as their team not who we thought they were because they got blown out. Just like we didn't overreact to the Packers getting blown out against the Bucks week 1. Saints week 1. My thing again, I just offensive. I don't yardage is the worst metric to use for defense or offense. I care about points. So how many points do you allow every game? What are your turnovers? And what do you do in the red zone? And then the last piece I want
I
to
look at yours though.
I don't.
I'm big. I feel you on that, because I'm big on my
That's
philosophy is
the
turnovers.
NFL. In the NFL, everyone's gonna get yards. At yards,
Yeah,
I think Bill Belichick said he give a damn about yards. He does defense off points and turnovers. The
yeah.
whole object of the game
I
is
do turnovers, red zone, and third down efficiency. That's why I give a damn about the defensive. My philosophy. But what I'm saying is, it's a tell of the tape. So if I'm watching a game and they had three, four, there are two, almost 300 more yards than us, and they marching up and down the field, that means they've been marching up and down the field the whole game.
so.
We just they turned the ball over.
Now,
We
question.
turned
Wait,
the
wait.
ball over, or they gave us the ball away. And
So
remember, now all
you don't
turnovers.
care.
Remember this. Hold on, Zay. Remember this. Now all turnovers come the same. A lot of sometimes they can be gifted. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So we can be driving the ball all game and gifted a late fumble on the goal line. We just did that 2 weeks ago. We drove the whole field for Laney. We drove the whole field. Red zone. We hand the ball off on the one.
I hate that, man. I'll be honest. I hate that when a defense gets a turnover. Why? Oh, that's the offensive fault. No, they took that. If I forced the ball,
I just said we drove the whole field,
and
and we're on the one. We turn around, hand the ball, and the running back drops the ball. The running back drops the ball. That's us gifting them a turnover.
No. I'm sorry. That's called Coach Beam. Get better execution. Practice that over and over.
Nah, that's the running back giving them a turnover, gifting them.
Okay, time out. Did the other team's running back give y'all a turnover? No, they didn't. So that's what I'm saying. That's the part of playing defense. If the offense messes up, you still have to recover it. And I don't blame defenses for the offense messing up. That's part of the game. Can you execute for 60 minutes? If you don't execute, that's part of having a red zone defense and why it's hard to drive the field. Can you not mess up for a 10, 12, 13 play drive? Can you not get a penalty on the 5-yard line after 12 plays early on? And if you look at that, you're right. The Chiefs fumbled in the red zone. Got laid out and fumbled. That's called I'm better than you. And then Asante Samuel laid out for a pick and got it. He took that from them. And also like this, you kept going to the red zone and couldn't score. Why? Because the Chargers' red zone defense. You could drive the field. Think about it. I'll tell you this. As an offensive player, my coaches would lose their mind when we drove the field and couldn't score because they were so frustrated with the defense. We had to figure out what the defense was doing. Red zone defense is completely different than drive the field defense.
No, for sure, because it gets tighter down there. It's a harder game to call offensively.
That's why I don't. Again, to take a step back, I don't. I looked at the Chiefs one as the Chargers' biggest win of the year. How hard it was for Pat Mahomes every single drive. I think that was his worst. Again, that was his worst throwing percentage since the Super Bowl. And so I was like, damn, if you watch that game, he's getting rattled. He's getting gone after. Now, like I said, we're not awarding Super Bowl champs in week 4 after week 4. My top 3 teams: Chargers, Rams, Cardinals. And I know why you got the Rams above the Cardinals still. Like you said, I still think they're more balanced, and I believe in their coach. Right? To me, the Cardinals' weakness is Cliff Kingsbury. He never won shit. Can I trust Cliff at Lambeau Field in January? I don't know.
I think the reason why you could trust Cliff, because at the end of the day, it's kind of why we was able to trust McCarthy for all those years in Green Bay. He got the quarterback, man. They got the relationship, at least right now. Hopefully it don't end off rocky how McCarthy and A-Rods did. But when you got that pairing, for the most part, if the quarterback can carry coach, he can, if he's that talented. And this quarterback, K1, looks official. He's playing MVP caliber football right now, Kyler Murray.
No, yes, I agree. I just think everything, the playoffs, everything gets faster, and I think the coaching really sticks out in the playoffs. I think we saw last year, right? The 4 coaches in the AFC NFC Championship were all like elite coaches. So I think that's my only again. My question: the Cardinals, can they handle success? My question with the Rams: are you going to do what you're supposed to as being, to me, the most complete roster in the NFL? And the Cardinals, I just question Cliff. Now, 2 teams who I think will might shut all us up when it's week 15, week 16. I will never take my eyes off Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. They can change They can change the season at any moment. Right off 8 straight wins. That can change at any moment. So those are the two other teams I got behind them. The Bucks, I know, like, hey, you're not talking about the Bucks a lot. The Bucks won the Super Bowl last year because of the defense and a really weak NFC. We talked about that. NFC's a little better this year. Their own division's a little better this year. So I got Tom and his Bucks right in there or after the Seahawks and Chiefs. But I think those are the teams that are going to be competing for a Lambeau Trophy this year. If you're not in that group, again, I can't see with the Packers this year. That's just me. But yeah, real quick, a couple scenario questions for end it off. You had a good one. This is going to be the first losing season under Tom Coughlin. I said Tom Coughlin. Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin.
You out of pocket, bro.
That's hella disrespectful too. My bad, Mike.
Hey, I mean, well, shoot, Coughlin still got 2 rings, so
Yeah, he do.
against the dynasty.
Tomlin got one though. Never had
He
a
got one. I'm just saying, Coughlin, them 2 equal like 4. I ain't gonna lie, them 2 for Coughlin damn near equal like 4, bro.
Oh yeah, not to get off topic, but I'm Coughlin. Anytime I get a chance, like, oh yeah, this is how I beat Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
What you thinking with Tomlin, man?
Man, it's a fair question to ask. I love Mike T, man, but it's looking rough. Ben looks completely shot. I remember 2 weeks ago here on the podcast, I was arguing for him, and he was on my head about Ben. And the more I watch him, it looks bad. It looks like an old quarterback aging right in front of our eyes.
He looks worse than Phillip Rivers last year.
Like, yeah, it looks that bad.
Phillip could at least manage the game.
Exactly. And it looks that bad for the Steelers right now. They got the Broncos coming up this week, one of the league's best defense. That's another team that got a pretty good defense, even though Lamar ate them up last week. And then they got the Seahawks, Browns, Bears. The next win where I can say it looks like a gimme for the Steelers is in 4 weeks, and that's against the Lions. And even the Lions ain't no pushovers no more. At least they still got some, they drop their nuts from time to time. Campbell got them playing tough. Then I got the Bengals, the Chargers, the Ravens. Like, yeah, I see 6 to 8 wins here. I see 6 to 8 wins somewhere in between 6 to 8 for the Steelers.
6 to 8. Yeah, I think. See, in the NBA, you see it a lot, like this farewell tour bullshit, where it's like, oh, you play 18 years, you suck, but we still gonna sign you. You can't do that in NFL, or this is gonna happen to you. Like, yes, Big Ben, great career there. I don't like him as the person for the off the field shit. He's a rapist. We know that. But to me, it's over. It's over, and this is Steelers' fault, and this is Tomlin's fault. For some reason, you thought Ben could give you something more, and they're probably. I've never understood this. When a guy gets hurt old, that's already declining, and assuming him getting a little healthier, he'll play different the next year. That's not. I don't know what type of thinking where that makes sense.
Sorry to cut you off. I do want to say this though, to go on record, just in case they do have a bad season, and let's say they have a bad season next year. I don't want to hear nobody talking about Mike T job need to be called for because he's not. I'm going to tell you why. Because he's not in charge of Drew. Because I do have an issue with the Steelers, not Mike Tomlin, but I have an issue with the Steelers as far as where's your backup plan. Where's your plan? Where's your bridge? Where's your plan for success, for future success? We haven't found Mason Rudolph. We already knew that 2 years ago or a year ago. He wasn't the answer. So why haven't you guys drafted somebody knowing Ben is getting older? And like I said, I'm not putting most of that blame on Tomlin because it's been on record. We know he doesn't have much control over how they pick the team and draft the team and put together the team. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, that's on the GM Kevin Colbert. I know Mike has. You're right. He has influence over the picks. He had a great. There's a great clip of him. You can find it on YouTube. Him and Ryan Clark are talking about Trent Richardson. Mike Tomlin said he's not going to draft him because he's like Trent Richardson absorbs contact. He doesn't give it. He's
exactly.
He said, "Do you think Palomalo or you would get tired of hitting Trent in the fourth?" He said that's where he breaks his big runs in the fourth. And what Trent Richardson ended up being. But anyways, that's his little fun story about Mike and his scouting. But I again, like you said, I agree. Mike's job should not be called at all. To me, it's a reboot. And again, I think the Steelers in a weird position, not similar to the Niners, but like our roster looks like a playoff contending Super Bowl, like contend for some late playoff wins. That's what the roster looks like on every position except quarterback. And we just see Big Ben, you're like, oh, that's good enough to win, right? But if you look at the guy now, and a lot of fans and players and people have problems seeing this, like Cam Newton. It's not 2015. Big Ben. It's not 2016 with him. Like that 12-14 last year. Remember, and you're the first one to point this out. They didn't play nobody at all for those first 11 weeks, and they had a losing record in December. So yeah, it's time to Big Ben to go. If they really want to save the season, you got to make a trade. You got to make, but they're not going to do that because they're in this weird predicament where they don't want to disrespect.
I don't believe that really saves the seasons, because then you got to think about it. Say you trade for Deshaun. All right, well, damn, now he's learning a brand new offense in the middle of a season. That's tough, man. And to ask him to have success, that's tough.
That no, you're right. That is tough, but that's the only shot I see. Big Ben can't throw past 20 yards right now. I mean, Najee Harris is going to lead the team in catches. He's going to have 120 catches. He had 14 catches from dump offs a week ago.
Man.
So good fantasy player to pick up right now, though. But yeah, it's over for Ben. I think this is the last year he ever plays football. I can't unless he's the backup quarterback somewhere where I cannot see him putting his ego aside at all to do that. So yeah, it's the end of the era for Big Ben. I have my personal things about Big Ben. To me, he, good quarterback, Super Bowl winner, great organization, not a real good guy, and that's his story. So, last thing I want to talk about before we head out. Zach Wilson got it going this weekend. Justin Fields showed potential this weekend. We have, Mac Jones is progressing week by week, looks the most comfortable running a full-time offense. And we got Trey Lance playing a little bit. What are your thoughts overall? Trevor's been doing his thing. Again, he's making at least a game-changing throw every game, so you see the talent. But what's your thoughts overall on this rookie class so far? Is there potential to work on so far to keep building?
Yeah, potential for all of them, man. I really want to say we should have talked about the Bucks in that pass game, because that was the game of the weekend, and I forgot to mention about Mac Jones. That young bull was up here dueling it out with the GOAT. And if I'm him, I have a big issue with Tom Monday morning. I mean, not Tom, excuse me, with Bill Monday morning. And I have a huge issue with the fucking kicker. The kicker got to see me. He had a chance to beat Tom Brady at home, ruin his reunion, and the kicker, you did everything you were supposed to do, Mac. Mac completed 19 straight throws, put the team in position to win. And I'm pissed off at Bill. I know I said it right away, especially with the conditions, the rain, and what was happening, the conditions of the game. Why were you kicking that, Bill? 4th and 3. I feel like y'all could have converted that. Y'all just had a Jacoby Myers on a flat route, right, a play or two before that was wide open. That got batted down at the line, but it was wide open. So I had no issue with you guys, or no issue with Mac Jones wanting to get 3 yards late. I don't see what was Bill's thought process there. I don't understand that one.
I agree. I think I know in the offensive minds, it could have been Josh, where you look at on your play sheet is which player on our offense can win one-on-one right now. In 4th and 3, you don't want to run that. So right there, they're looking who can win a one-on-one matchup in man. And when it looks slim, when you got Nelson Aguilar, Hunter Henry, look over that Bucks.
Zay, we also got to remember this. Who was the Bucks playing with? They had Sherman out there after signing him only for 5 days. No, Davis went down. I would have won that.
I agree. I just think.
And Mac just completed 19 straight. My bad.
Okay. I know. Again, which receiver should they throw to it who they go to on 4th down?
Man, like I said, anybody, really?
Yeah, just tell me the name. Tell me.
I would have went to the tight end. I would have went to on the
no. I'm just trying to think how they have no weapons. So throw it to Myers, who doesn't have a career touchdown. Okay, who else? Sorry, he had his first.
Aguilar, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, a back slipping out the front. All I'm saying is that's where you got to get creative at. That is when you're supposed to look at your offensive play sheet.
I agree. No, I agree. I agree. I just look at it like, hey, make the field goal, we win. Hey, we get the fort. They probably thought, hey, we got to bet.
No, it ain't gonna make the field goal we win, because y'all would have left too much time on the clock. That was another reason why I was like, I didn't understand why he didn't go for it. Because even if they made the field goal, it still would have been 50-something seconds left. And I believe Tom had at least 2, maybe 3, but they had 2 timeouts. That was more than enough time, and all that he would have had to do was get a field goal. So that was the other reason I didn't understand Bill's thought process there. Why not go for it, keep the clock going, keep the drive going, get another 10, 12 yards to make this a 56-yarder, now into a 44-yarder, 46-yarder. So I don't know. I didn't understand Bill's thought process.
No, you're right. And then, I'm not going to disagree with the point because, But maybe Bill's process, if we don't get this, that's 60 yards, game over. So cool. Um, and again, I think part of it is just trusting Mac Jones and trusting the weapons. Like they have a go-to, and that's the thing on these fourth down situations. You see, like I think you mentioned earlier, the Chargers were 4 for 5. When you have guys that can consistently always win one-on-one like that, I think Packers have one of the highest fourth down completion percentages under Rodgers because Devontae Adams. When you have a go-to guy that you know can win one-on-one, it's easier to just go ahead and be confident and go for those fours, right? Now, young quarterback, no weapons. Not saying he shouldn't have went for it, but you're looking at a play caller, young QB, no go-to guy that's a Pro Bowler or even someone. There's not even one guy that got a bracket or worry about on that Patriot offense, right? So they lost, and so now we're looking at Monday morning. Hey, go for it, have some nuts. It's gonna be. It might be a long season for the Pats. I think they're gonna be a feisty 6-win team. So, but that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, man. Week 4. I like this part of the season, man. We start really seeing who's who. Closer we get to week 8. By week 8, we know who's who. And after that, it's all pushing for playoffs. Playoffs are top 5 pick, one of the two. But
you said what was that? My bad.
I said by week 8, you're either gonna be pushing for the playoffs or pushing for that top 5 pick.
Man, for real.
Last question. MVP right now.
Kyler Murray.
Can't disagree there. All right, man.
All right, boy.
We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is time to get back to the huddle.